Today, we're going to get into a really powerful story. It's about a soldier who gave a decade of her life to her country, only to come home and face the fight of her life. It's a story about a betrayal that is just unimaginable. But it's also about this incredible comeback, about redefining what family really means. Just imagine hearing those words. After 10 years of service, after you've sent pretty much every dime you earned back home, after you've been wounded in an explosion, those are the words you hear when you get back.
And this wasn't just some random fight, no. These words came from a mother to her own daughter, Krista, a wounded veteran, and it happened on Christmas night, right at the dinner table. This is the moment where everything hits rock bottom and where her new beginning somehow starts.
So to really get how things got this bad, you gotta look at Krista's past. For her, joining the Army, it wasn't just about patriotism. It was about trying to finally earn a love that always felt like it had a price tag. This right here really shows the two different worlds she grew up in. On one side, you've got her mother's love, which was always a deal. It was always, I did this for you, so now you owe me. But on the other side, her grandma's house was a safe space, unconditional love. That constant push and pull is what led an 18-year-old Krista to enlist, thinking maybe, just maybe, serving her country would be enough to make her mom proud. And man, she committed. This wasn't just a couple of years. We're talking a full decade of her life. 3 separate deployments. She was all in. And the sacrifice wasn't just her time and her safety. It was her money too. Right from the get-go, she was sending cash home. Started at $500 a month, and it just went up from there. In her mind, she was paying for a new roof, helping with college. She thought she was buying her seat at the family table. And this is where everything changes. Her career gets cut short because of an IED, and she finally comes home. She's picturing this big hero's welcome she's been dreaming about for 10 years. But what she got was a nightmare.
So, on her last deployment, her convoy gets hit by an IED. The explosion tragically killed another soldier and left Krista with a shattered femur, a lot of nerve damage. Her career is just over. But on the phone, her mom sounded so caring, talking about getting her room all ready for her. So even with all the pain, Krista was actually hopeful. She was excited to be home. But the red flags started popping up the second her plane landed. Nobody was even there to pick her up. When she finally gets a cab home, her mom's first words are about her letting the cold air in. And her childhood bedroom? Yeah, that's gone. It's a home office now. Her bed was a half-inflated air mattress shoved in the corner. That was her welcome home.
It all just explodes at Christmas dinner. Her leg spasms because she's so uncomfortable in the chair, and she accidentally drops and breaks an old plate. And that's when her mother just unleashes on her. It wasn't about the plate. She called Krista's service playing soldier, and then she hit her with this. Just a total gut punch, calling her a burden after everything.
So there she is, Christmas night, kicked out of her house with less than $200 in her pocket. She had one last shred of hope, her grandmother's farm, which was a 2-hour bus ride away. And that desperate trip, well, it led to the welcome she should have gotten all along.
And get this, on the way, 2 total strangers, George and Harold, showed her more compassion than her own mother had. They just listened to her story, thanked her for her service, and helped her out. No questions asked. It just shows you, right? The incredible kindness of strangers versus the coldness she just left.
And wow, talk about a complete 180. She gets to her grandma's door just terrified. For a second, her grandma, who'd been fed all these lies by Krista's mom, pretends to be annoyed. But then she just throws the door open and pulls her into this huge hug. It's this incredible shift from the coldest rejection you can imagine to the absolute warmest, most real acceptance. So now, with her grandmother, Krista finally has the room to breathe, to actually start healing. And we're not just talking about her physical injuries. This was about rebuilding her entire life from scratch.
And look, this wasn't some overnight miracle. It was a process, step by step. Her grandma gets her hooked up with a new doctor, someone who actually makes a real care plan. The whole community starts to rally around her, neighbors giving her rides, friends checking in. She finds purpose again, helping out on the farm. And most importantly, she starts setting boundaries, especially with money.
And then they uncovered the truth, and it is absolutely devastating. Her grandma had been keeping track of all the times her mom had asked for money over the years. They put it all together and realized the thousands and thousands of dollars Krista sent for emergencies. It wasn't for a roof. It wasn't for college. It was for vacations, for designer bags, for keeping up appearances. Her sacrifice paid for a lifestyle, not a family's survival.
Okay, so all of this builds to one final confrontation, the last chapter of this part of her story. A full year goes by. Krista is stronger now, physically and emotionally, and that new strength is about to get put to the test. A year to the day after she was thrown out, her mother shows up at the farm. Not with an apology, of course not. She's there because she heard Krista's disability back pay had come through, and she wanted her slice. But this time, Krista didn't fall apart. She just calmly said no. And when her mother stormed off, Krista didn't feel that old sting of pain. She just felt relief. And that was it. That was her declaration of independence. She finally stood up to her mother, not with rage, but with this quiet strength of someone who finally knows their own worth. She broke the cycle.
And this, right here, this is the lesson she learned through all of it. Family isn't just blood. It's the people who show up, the ones who stand by you when you can barely stand on your own. It's about who you are, not what you can do for them.
Krista's story is just such a powerful reminder that sometimes hitting absolute rock bottom is what you need to build a new, stronger foundation. The very things that broke her, the injury, the rejection, are what ultimately set her free to find a life filled with real purpose and genuine love. It really makes you think, doesn't it? How our own hardest moments might just be the start of something beautiful?